excited to chat
Me
with you.
too.
You're coming to our neck of the woods very soon here on tour, and we're going to get into all of that. But I thought to start, it would be fun to maybe take it back to the beginning. Could you talk a little bit about how you got into wrestling?
Yeah. So I was an amateur wrestler for 20 years, believe it or not, Greco-Roman, and I wrestled in the Olympic Games in 2012 in London. But I was always a fan of WWE, pro wrestling in general. And just so happened that they had some scouts there at the London Olympics, and they were looking for kind of amateur athletes at the time. So the stars just aligned, and I parlayed that into a career with WWE the following year.
It's amazing. And look at you today, just like you said.
Yeah, I,
Like, that's a wild journey.
yeah.
If you weren't wrestling right now, what do you think you would have done instead for a career?
Well, I got my degree in kind of motion graphics and animation. So I was always into digital design and things like that. I'm very passionate about it. So probably something like that. I always saw myself like designing movie titles for feature films and things, I think.
Very cool. Well, hey, you're in this creative realm already, so you never know.
Right.
You could start trying some other things in that world too.
Yeah. I think when I'm done wrestling, my body will be ready for a break. So maybe I'll
Yeah,
move over to that and sit in a chair for a while at a desk.
I can imagine that takes a
Yeah.
toll on the bod for sure.
Yeah.
And thus far in your career, you've already had so many accomplishments. Of course, you mentioned the Olympics, no big deal,
Yeah.
WWE. But of all the things you've done thus far, what accomplishment would you say you're the most proud of?
Man, in WWE, I think I hang my hat on being able to say I had a match at WrestleMania. A couple now, two since then, but having my first one, also with Randy Orton being in the ring during that match, you can't kind of can't top being in there with a legend like that in front of that many people. So I'd say having a WrestleMania match was probably my top moment.
Very cool. And with that being said, so many millions and millions of people watching you do that, a lot
Right.
looking up to you as well. What advice would you give to someone maybe just starting out trying to get into wrestling?
I would say, it seems daunting, but you take little tasks, little steps at a time, and before you know it, you're like there. It seems like such a long journey, and it is, but when you divide it up and take the small steps, that's the key. But also, you can't ever get forget about hard work. Hard work is the basis and the key of everything. So I always say, just try to make hard work easy in your head. If hard work becomes easy, you're on the right path.
Yes, I think that is great advice for really any career or any dream too. If
Sure.
you chop things up into smaller pieces, it's more digestible and more realistic. So
Sure.
nice to know that that's kind of how you got here too.
Yeah.
Now, I'm so curious, just because, as we talked about, this takes a toll on your bod. The athleticism is insane for what you
Sure.
do. So, what does a normal day in your life look like?
Well, so they kind of vary between on the road and at home. So right now I'm at home. So I got up. I have three kids. So I get up. I make sure I'm first up, because if you let the kids get up first, your day just goes like in a whirlwind and it doesn't stop. So I get up first and kind of get myself settled, get them off to school, and I work out immediately just to get it done. I get my coffee in me and I get the workout done first thing in the morning. So then that's checked off for the day, and then I'll do interviews with people like you, amazing people like you, and we'll build up our shows, promote the shows. And then on the weekends when I'm on the road, we do the same thing. So I travel with Otis, and we're kind of driving between town to town to our different shows, but we'll find gyms. I've got a list on my phone. It's funny because everybody kind of hits me up for the gyms because I've got the famous list of every gym in every town that we go to. And so we'll find a gym in those towns. We'll get our workout done, and then go to the building and knock the show out and try to tear the house down in these different towns every night. So
Absolutely. Well, I'm excited that you're bringing that whole kit and caboodle over here to Maine. And I'm also glad you mentioned your babies, because I did want to ask
yeah,
you about fatherhood. How would you say
sure.
that's changed you in just like your life or your career as well?
It changed everything, and it was such a unique thing because it was right when we caught fire in NXT that I had my first kid. And so I was going through like these multiple changes in my life where I was now on NXT TV, but also just had my, well, actually, when we were on our first NXT UK tour overseas in December of 2015, my wife was due like that week to have the baby. So I was over in the UK kind of stressing out, but doing these awesome shows, having the time of my life. But like, please don't let her have the baby before I get home. So like we hopped on the plane after the London show, getting home. I'm like, just hold out like 12 more hours. I'm almost there. And then, we had our first baby and then had two since then. So three. But I mean, mostly it's just made life like feel like everything it's supposed to be. I have something I'm fighting for now. Every time I'm training or working out or going on the road, there's a reason I'm doing it. I have a reason to come back home to every day. It's just the greatest joy in my life. I couldn't be happier.
That's a beautiful thing, Gable. And what I love about you too is it seems like you really include your children in the WWE thing as well. I see them out
Yeah.
there. So that must be really special for them to be a part of that as well.
Yeah, they all love it. They love watching, especially my little guy. My son is my youngest, but now I made him a singlet once, like a copycat singlet of mine for WrestleMania a couple years ago, and now it's like he got hooked on it. So I got to make him one every time I get a new one. He needs one. It's like, oh, I didn't know what I was getting myself into, but can't tell him no because he just loves it. He's such a character. But they all do, and once in a while they'll come on a trip with me and watch the shows and come along ringside. And it's so cool, to be able to do that once in a while and have them travel with me. It just makes life on the road a little easier.
I can imagine. And of course, we touched on you coming here for the holiday tour. But before that, you're currently embarking on the Alpha Academy Live tour. Can you talk a little bit
Sure.
about what that is?
Yeah, so I've been putting together just kind of our schedules since we had Maxine, our first female member of the Alpha Academy, and Otis. So we're calling it our live tour where we're just going around not only the country but now the world because we're going to be in Germany at the end of October and who knows where else. We kind of find stuff out as we go, but yeah, we just take our act, on the road. Whether some nights we're doing tag team matches as the Alpha Academy, some nights we're doing singles matches. So that's kind of what I mean by our live tour. You never know kind of what you're going to get, but you're going to get us every single weekend. So we put the dates on there so people can come out and see us and really experience the Alpha Academy. It's a great thing.
That's great. And it kind of makes it extra special that the shows are unique. Like you said, you get what you get at every show.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes maybe you're going to get Maxine wrestling very, very
Right.
soon, hopefully. So
Yes, that's very exciting. Well, let's talk the holidays. You're going to be at the
sure.
Cross Insurance Arena in Portland for the WWE Holiday Tour. Can you tell the fans a little bit about what they can expect at this event if they've never been to one before?
First of all, yes, you should 100% now more than ever get to these live events because they are, I mean, the last couple of weeks, even for example, we've been selling out these shows and they've been incredible. The audiences, the crowds have been like high energy, high octane from the get-go. But that's also because we've been having like especially great matches on these shows. So for anyone that hasn't been to a live event before or thinks that maybe, we only get these great matches or title matches on premium live events or TV, we're doing title matches on live events now on a weekly basis. So like I've wrestled Gunther the last 3-4 weeks in a row in 20-minute title matches on these shows. And Seth Rollins is defending his title on all these shows. So you're not just going and getting like these basic matches and shows, you're getting the real deal. You could see a title change on these shows. So if you need a reason to go, it's because believe me, anything can happen on these shows. So it's worth it.
Yes, and I know that's right, Gable, because actually last year was the first time I ever went to the live event. I went to the holiday tour y'all did last.
Okay.
It was crazy. I lived
Yeah.
for it. It felt like watching a TV show, but in real life was the best way
Sure.
I could describe it.
And
So
live events are so fun because we get to be able to be a little more free and interact with our audience a little more than we would. We don't have any of the restraints that we have with TV, where there's time restraints and we got to go to commercials and things like that. At these live events, it's like free reign. So it's like a party, man. It's like we're having the time of our life out there.
Absolutely. I couldn't recommend people to go to this more. It was such a freaking blast. And you got a lot of other great wrestlers going on tour with you, Gable. So I'm curious, out of everyone on tour, who are you most looking forward to being on the road with?
Well, I love competing against Gunther on the road
Yeah.
because we just have a crazy chemistry for whatever reason. Sometimes you run into those opponents or guys that you never wrestled before, but when you do the first time, you just know like you were meant to wrestle each other. And that's one of those guys for me. So I hope I get to wrestle him there. Tag team stuff we always love doing when me and Otis get to be on a team. I'd love to see Maxine do some singles matches, get some more experience. So, I'm open to anything. I love it. Like last weekend, I teamed up with the New Day, which I've never done before. I mean, not that I can remember. And so you never know what's going to happen on the live events. You get fun matches like that all the time. So it should be good.
Very exciting. Well, I have some fan questions for you, Gable, if you
Sure.
don't mind.
Of course.
Landon has a two-parter. What
Okay.
is your favorite video game and your favorite food?
Wow. Favorite video game of all time is a game called Earthbound. It was a Super Nintendo game. This is from my childhood, but I think, I mean, for anyone into video games, I think we all have like kind of that one game that really brings them back to their childhood and it really emotionally kind of resonates. And that's my game. So I still play that once or twice a year. And then food for me, I can't beat like just a good ribeye steak. I love my steak. I'm a meat eater through and
Yes.
through.
I feel like you have to be, right?
You kind of have
A
to be,
little
yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
Totally. Well, the last fan question is from Brett. He wants to know, when are you going to take the Intercontinental belt from Gunther?
You know what? I would love to take it away in Portland, Maine, if they
Yeah.
give me a title match that night on the live event. So hopefully I'll request to wrestle Gunther for the Intercontinental title in Portland, and we'll do it right in front of you, buddy.
Boom, there it is. I love it, Gable. Well, last but certainly not least, here in the state of Maine, our state motto is the way life should be. So I would like to know, according to you, what is the way life should be?
Joyful and full of gratefulness, waking up every day just being happy with what you have, never satisfied but happy with what you currently have.
Love that. I love that you added the never satisfied too, because I do think that's important. You got to keep the drive,
Sure.
keep the hustle, but still be happy with where you are right now.
100%.
That is perfect. Well, this December, we can't wait to see you take that title, as you mentioned, at the Cross Insurance Arena. We'll definitely be out there with bells and whistles cheering you on,
Can't
Gable.
wait. I'm
Yeah.
excited. Can't wait to get to Portland.